morning, Grandpa High School, and happy National Candy Corn Day. I'm Carter.
And I'm Skylar, and this is the news for the week of October 30th.
For lunch this week, today will be barbecue finger flatbreads or hot head and cheese croissants. Tuesday is mummy chili dogs or Frito zombie pie. Wednesday is piranha roast or Franken fingers. Thursday is grilled flesh or mummy ribs. And Friday is a wereburger and fangs. And remember, grab-and-go salad options are always available if you prefer those instead.
Last Friday was Fall Senior Night, where the 12th graders in football, band, cheer, Stuco, and GHSTV sports were recognized. It won't be long before our seniors leave Gravette High, so we want to make sure to give them the recognition they deserve.
Art Club's annual Fall Art Contest is now open for voting. All artwork is displayed in the gallery. Students and teachers will scan a QR code and vote for their favorites, and prizes for first, second, and third place will be awarded, as well as the People's Choice Award. Be sure to vote your favorites before the contest ends.
Future Business Leaders of America's annual Holiday Cards for Heroes drive is going on right now. These cards are handmade by students and shipped to the brave men and women in our military. You can make cards on your own and drop them off to Miss Moots in room 126, or schedule an RTI to create a few during school hours. Please do your part to help FBLA reach its goal of 800 cards for some very deserving individuals.
Tonight is DECA's annual Halloween karaoke party from 5 to 7:30. The event is open to Gravette students only. Tickets are $10 and songs will need to be pre-downloaded before the event. See Mr. Johnson in room 124 if you have any questions.
This Wednesday during enrichment, Eric McMullen will be premiering a 7-minute sneak peek of his Eric McMullen movie. Along with the screening, there will be a Q&A session and the opportunity to win an autographed script of the movie. Be sure to sign up for RTI in the Pack with Mr. Garton if you want to come cheer Eric on.
For the first time in several years, Gravette High School will be holding the Mr. and Miss GHS pageant. Registration for the pageant is closed, but if you would like to support your friends and classmates, the pageant will be open to the public on November 4th. You can also vote for the Lion's Choice Award. Each contestant will have a ballot box with $1 equaling 1 vote. The person with the most votes in both divisions will receive 10% of the money they raise. Be sure to talk to the pageant contestants about where their box is located.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We've all seen the bright ribbons and other pink ways to show the support of those with breast cancer, and rightly so, since 1 in every 8 women will be diagnosed within her lifetime. Cancer is a broad term for a class of diseases characterized by abnormal cells that grow and invade healthy cells in the body, and breast cancer is the type that starts in the breast and can then spread into surrounding tissue or other areas. It's important to know that even though many women will be affected by breast cancer, the chance of surviving breast cancer is very high if it's caught early. This happens through regular checks and visits with your doctor.
And so I have a mom that survived a breast cancer incident, and she did not have to have chemotherapy or radiation. So, I mean, every month, ladies are supposed to do a self-breast check so they can notify their doctors if there's something unusual.
And it doesn't just happen to women. Although very rare, men can also get diagnosed with breast cancer. You can show your support and awareness of those affected by the disease by wearing a pink ribbon, making a donation, or simply knowing more about it. Along with Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Let's go to Shay to learn more.
While many of us are familiar with the pink ribbons that surround Breast Cancer Awareness Month, many of you may not know that October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Morgan Babcock is a small business owner of the Little Black Boutique in Gravette. She is also a passionate advocate for domestic violence awareness, which is purple instead of pink.
There are many resources in Northwest Arkansas that provide information and ways that you can get involved and help. One that I personally follow is the Northwest Arkansas Women's Shelter.
The Northwest Arkansas Women's Shelter helps women and children who are victims of domestic violence. Each month they post a list of their needs on their website where there are opportunities to donate money and fundraise. They also have a thrift store located in Rogers that helps provide the needs of the shelter. The NWA Women's Shelter was named Community Ally of the Year in 2022 by Graduate Professional Student Congress at the University of Arkansas.
It is important to me because I have been in a relationship that was very physically and mentally abusive, and luckily I did have the friends and family to support me and help get me through that. It was a very traumatic time in my life, and I learned that as years go on, it stays with you. The trauma stays with you. It's not just an overnight thing that you get over, and people need continuous support even outside of the situations. So 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have been or will be affected by domestic violence in their lifetime. The thing about domestic violence is it's very silent. A lot of the time the victims are scared to speak up or don't want to speak up for fear of retaliation or fear of their life. And so it's good to just get an understanding and the signs you can look for, and ways that you can help somebody in need, somebody that you may know, maybe a friend, maybe a family member.
While many of us think of domestic violence as physical abuse, it can be presented in many ways. According to the Northwest Arkansas Women's Shelter, warning signs of domestic violence include any form of physical harm, any unwanted sexual attention or non-consensual sexual acts, being isolated from friends and family by a partner, partners saying words or phrases that are meant to be degrading, partners using technology to stalk or intimidate, partners controlling victims' access to money and ability to get a job, partners using belief to reinforce their abuse, or partners controlling your identity. Although these situations are very real and scary, remember, they don't have to last forever. There is hope for help. If you or anyone you know is suffering from domestic violence, know that you have the power to help end it. And if you or anyone you're concerned about is showing these warning signs of domestic violence, contact a trusted adult or call the Domestic Abuse Hotline at 800-799-7233.
Thank you, Shay.
A couple years ago, we brought you a story about Can Do Hardware, a hardware store that holds much more than nails and drills. Since then, the same folks have opened up Pet Pop, a pet supply store with a whole lot of spooky surprises. Take it away, Cole.
Have you heard of a store called Can Do Hardware? Well, did you know last year they opened a sister location here in Gravette? So, let's take a deep dive into this new store called Pet Pop. Having first opened its doors on January 1st, 2022, right here on Main Street, Pet Pop, much like its counterpart Can Do Hardware, is a very unique store, having been remodeled from an old roller skating rink. Within its walls, you will find a massive array of products, ranging from pet supplies, foreign foods and drinks, clothes and merchandise, and even a large assortment of Legos. The general idea behind Pet Pop is to be able to provide access to products that may not be as accessible in our local areas.
The Asian imports, the Legos, maybe a bit less like that, but just big draws, something, again, that we don't really have around here.
Pet Pop gets its inspiration from the 80s and 90s. This inspiration can be seen in areas such as the Viva La Video corner or even the Sleazy Mart, which is to become a new section of the store in the future.
Maybe kind of like the Viva La Video, but a little bit more special.
What will be back there is still a mystery. These different sections bring a sense of nostalgia for many people and call back to a time where things were very different from how they are today. This store has so much to offer, whether you be a horror fan, a Lego fanatic, or even a pet lover. Pet Pop is sure to have something that'll catch your eye. So be sure to hop on by and see for yourself. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Cole.
What's dark, creepy, and full of bats? This isn't a Halloween pun. We're talking about the Old Spanish Treasure Cave, where you can have a spooky adventure any time of the year. Here's Logan to tell us more about it.
Hello, all my spooky season lovers. Some of you may not know that about 5 to 10 minutes north of Gravette is the Old Spanish Treasure Cave. I got a chance to tour and talk with the owner, Paul Lynn Scott. Come with me and tour the real treasure cave. The Old Spanish Treasure Cave dates back all the way to the time of the Spanish conquistadors in the 15 and 1600s, when Spain owned the whole territory that we live in now.
A group of conquistadors were traveling up here through a brutal winter storm, so they took shelter inside the cavern. And actually, the room we're standing in is what we call the council room. So they had a campfire off to the side where there's a natural chimney. Native Americans came up, tracked them down, and saw smoke coming out the top of the mountain. So they came over and they killed most of the conquistadors. We do know at least one survived, and he finished hiding and concealing the cavern. It was not rediscovered until about 1885.
An old man from Madrid, Spain discovered some documents in an old family Bible that was handed down to him. The Bible contained maps on how to get to the cavern, and when him and his crew arrived in Gravette, then known as Nebo, they searched for the secret markings mentioned in his documents.
And there they dug straight down, removed a huge boulder with some funny markings on it, and it opened up into this massive cavern.
In 1908, the very first treasure hunt took place. George Dunbar and his crew installed one of the earlier mining operations here in Arkansas, called the Sulphur Springs Cave Company. They installed small rail tracks throughout the cavern and had small donkeys pulling carts over those tracks as they were excavating and searching for the treasure. In 1996, Paul and his wife Tracy purchased the cavern. For the past 2 decades, Paul and Tracy have been hosting paid cave tours, which are about an hour long and feature well-lit, easy-to-walk trails and a chance to literally explore our area's history. More recently, they've begun showing movies in the cavern, typically around the holiday time of year. And this year for Halloween, they had movies like Hocus Pocus, Ghostbusters, and The Nightmare Before Christmas. The movies get even scarier the closer it gets to Halloween. Even though Paul and Tracy spend their time maintaining the cavern as a tourist attraction, the hunt for the Spanish treasure continues. Just last month, Paul brought in an expert who had invented a machine very similar to ground-penetrating radar. During their scan, they discovered a cement footer within the cavern's floor.
We don't know what it is, but we know it's probably part of the mining operation where they had bolted some kind of a piece of machinery down on it.
Paul and his crew believe they have found a spot where the treasure is hidden. Unfortunately, the place is blocked by flooding waters from an underground waterfall, and the team will have to wait for drought conditions in order to access the location. And so, the hunt continues.
We're still discovering things here in the cavern. We haven't found the treasure yet, but we do believe we're getting close to it.
Even though spooky movies might be over, the fun of still trying to find the treasure is not. So be a part of the adventure and help support the Linscott's quest to find this treasure.
Guys, William Afton promised us he'll always come back, and last Friday night he did, and Brendan was there.
Thanks, guys. This week, a very popular franchise known as Five Nights at Freddy's came to the screen on October 27th, 2023, and I got to watch it. But what is the history of Five Nights at Freddy's? So back in 2013, Scott Cawthon was, or at least trying to, develop a kid game for children, but apparently a lot of people and parents said it just scared their children. So, listening to the haters, he decided to make a horror game that is very reminiscent of Chuck E. Cheese called Five Nights at Freddy's, or FNAF. So boom, he makes this game that at the time no one really noticed or cared about. But guess what? A few, small creators like Markiplier, Corey X. Kenshin, Daco, and many more started to play it and record their reactions. Then, of course, people started to play it themselves and discover things like Easter eggs and secrets. And what do you know? We have lore, which I was strictly told by my supervisor to not cover the lore because, well, there's just too much. But anyways, there's a total of 8 games, all having story and lore that was severely dissected by fans and YouTubers. And clearly, everyone loved it or still loves FNAF. Now, in 2023, on October 27th, the movie comes out. Alright, so here's my quick review. I was expecting a 2 or 3 out of 10, but I just went for fun. And fun is what I got, because the movie is a fun movie, especially as a hardcore FNAF fan. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that good, but I would still recommend people who like FNAF to go see it, so do that.
I have been a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's since it came out in 2014.
I remember my friends used to play it when I was elementary, but I never started playing it myself until I was in 7th grade.
I've loved it since it came out.
I'm really excited. I really hope it's good.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared it's going to be bad though.
Well, there it is, the history of FNAF in my spoiler-free review. Now, whenever you get the chance, maybe stop by the movie theater and go watch it. Let us know how you felt about it. Now, let's go back to Carter and Skylar for more news.
Last week, we asked you how often you checked your hack. 68% of you said you check it twice or more a week, 9% check once a week, 12% every once in a while, 7% when you have a bad grade, and 4% of you never check it at all.
For this week's survey, we want to know, what are your thoughts on candy corn? Do you think it's delicious?
Or do you think it belongs in the trash like a sane person? Well, that's everything for us. I'm Skylar.
And I'm Carter.
And we'll see you next week.